no live in a tenement yard. No. Rude boy no live in a tenement yard. Too much watch it, too much so. Them chatty.
What's up, family? What's up, family? It's your boy, Urban Sports Guru. I'm here in the building. It's me, Alonzo Good. Welcome back. We're going to get into the biggest sports topics of the week. You know what I'm saying? A lot of shit went down this week. A whole lot of shit went down this week. We're not even going to waste no time. We're going to get right to it. Man, listen. FBI wiretaps have Arizona head coach Sean Miller talking about paying then recruit DeAndre Ayton $100,000. I got a few different stories that came out, and I think they're all correlated to this. First of all, it took him a few days to come out and profess his innocence, as you're seeing in the video right now. You see him coming out to the game, and they gave him a standing ovation. At the end of the day, you know, the University of Arizona is going to ride with him, so I can't knock them for that. But LeBron, Melo, KD, they all have spoken out in interviews this week after practice, you know, calling the NCAA corrupt. ESPN anchors Jalen Rose, Jay Williams, both have suggested that these NCAA players boycott the tournament, boycott the Final Four. LeBron suggested that the NBA invest more money into the G League, have a real minor league system for the NBA, and furthermore, Adam Silver, NBA commissioner, sent out a memo to NBA teams about tanking. Now, all these stories to me are related, and I'm going to tell you why. Let's start from the beginning. First and foremost, Arizona's head coach, Sean Miller. This is what I think about your little statement. I don't fucking believe you. I don't believe a word. If you pay attention to the statement, you'll realize, just pay attention to what he's saying. Is very, very, he was putting a lot of conditions into what he was saying. I've never paid someone prior to coming to Arizona, or I've never done this. He put a lot of plausible deniability. I don't believe a damn thing that came out of his mouth. None of that shit. When Melo, KD, and LeBron all call the NCAA corrupt, yeah, it is. It's very fucking corrupt. Because I think Sean Miller is playing with the same rules that all the rest of the guys are playing with. I think everybody is doing this. Everybody's doing it. Everybody's paying players somehow, some way. Excuse me. What the talk that's coming out about how they want to create an extra little minor league system. Let's just speak the facts here. The reality is this. The game of basketball, National Basketball Association, has gone down since the flooding in of high schoolers and one and dones. That is not even up for debate. It is not debatable. Secondly, because everything's gone down with the one and done, you have a lot of terrible teams in the NBA. And because you have so many terrible teams in the NBA, everybody's tanking. Everybody's tanking because everybody wants to get one of those top 3 or top 5 picks. This year it looked like you might have 5 guys to choose from. Most years you only got 2 guys to choose from. Other years you only got 1 guy to choose from. So you got, of the 32 teams, you got 20 of those teams all hoping to pigeonhole themselves in to get that. And the thing is, ultimately, you have to start paying these guys in the NCAA. Because I can't knock these guys from going from high school to pros. I can't knock these guys from doing one and done. I cannot knock that. Because at the end of the day, you 18, 19 years old, you get offered millions, you're going to take that. Secondly, the NCAA is pimping them. It's fucking corrupt. Everybody's getting fucking paid except for these fucking kids. Which makes no fucking sense to me. Everyone's getting paid. So when Jalen Rose and Jay Williams, the Dookie, is talking about boycotting, that makes sense. There's one fucking problem though. This same problem existed when they was playing. Jay Williams, a national champion with Duke. They wasn't trying to boycott. Because the reality is, the NCAA are the real minor leagues, and these kids grow up wanting to play at these institutions. So you have to fix the NCAA. Making a minor league for basketball sounds good, and it does on face value, but the more and more I thought about it, it doesn't solve the problem. And I'm going to tell you why. What sport generates the most money? Going ahead, I'll wait. The sport that generates the most money is not basketball. It's football. Football generates the most money. So guess what? This is happening in basketball. Dudes getting paid. You think it's not happening in football? Hello? Wake the fuck up. It's happening in football. You goddamn right it's happening in football. So if you create a minor league system in basketball, okay, you could help fix basketball. What about football? What about the kids like a Julius Peppers who played both? Hall of Fame tight end, Hall of Fame in the maker, Tony Gonzalez, he played both. Donovan McNabb, he played both. What about those kids? You have to fix the system in the NCAA. That's where it has to get fixed, because the real minor leagues for football, the real minor leagues in basketball are the NCAA. Point blank, period. People talk about the minor league system in baseball, but guess what? There's college baseball as well. And even if you go to college in baseball, you get signed by a team, guess what? You still got to go through the minor leagues. That's why most of the guys in baseball, they go straight from high school to the minors. Because even if you go through college, guess what? You always got to go through the minors. There's no one who doesn't go through the minors in baseball. It does not happen. If you that motherfucker, if anything, you'll be fast-tracked through single A ball, double A ball, triple A ball. You'll get fast-tracked through, but at the very least, you're going to have to go through it. You're going to have to. That is mandatory. So all the talks about creating a minor league for basketball sounds good, but it's not fixing a problem. You're putting a Band-Aid on an open fucking wound. Because guess what? These problems that being shown the light in basketball, and the coaches that might end up going down for this, and I don't give a shit whoever it is. I'm a fan of Duke, and I'm going to say this right here on the record. I wouldn't give a fuck if Coach K went down. I want to see whoever go down, who needs to go down, for the simple fact of this. These kids are being taken advantage of. And for the betterment of the game of basketball, these kids need to be in the minor leagues a little bit longer. That is the reality. They need to be there a little bit longer. But here's my thing. Let's compensate them for that. Because there's so many kids year in, year out who get drafted who don't know how to play. And then for those of y'all that are listening to this right now and don't understand what I'm saying, here on YouTube, just look up the Barbershop Talk with LeBron James. He said it himself, do not take my word for this. He said, y'all will be surprised how many kids come into the league every single year who don't know how to play basketball. Who the fuck you think he's talking about? He's not going to go as in-depth as I am right now, because at the end of the day, he is a high schooler. In fact, he is the only high schooler, in my opinion, who deserved to make that jump. The only one, because LeBron James was a prodigy. But being the basketball, you know what I'm saying, the basketball IQ that he has, he knows what the fuck he's saying. He knows these dudes are not built the way he is, not just physically, but between the ears. There's a lot of things you can say about LeBron James to bash him. But when he said that, that's the kind of bullshit he was referring to. That's the kind of bullshit. And the reality is, more of these kids deserve more time down there, but I can't knock them for leaving because they're not being compensated. This is why I say they need to be compensated, because if they're compensated, they'll stay there longer. They'll stay there longer, they can develop better. By the time they come to the league, they're more of a polished product. The organizations know what it is that they're getting. One of the most important things in business is knowing what it is you're getting, knowing what it is you're paying for. It's one thing to pay, you're paying for chicken, but you're paying for gourmet chicken, but you're getting Chinese food wings. You'll be pretty pissed off. And this is a lot of the shit that's happening in basketball. That's why there's so many bad teams. There's only two ways you can really try to make your team better. If you can tank and be shitty for a few years, and hopefully within those few years you consistently drafting in the top 5 and you hit home runs, or if you're willing to spend money and you can consistently year in, year out attract free agents. Because gone are the days of being able to build your team if you're drafting mid to late first round. You can't do that no more. You cannot do that. You have to catch so much luck with maybe trying to get like a European player or something like that, which the San Antonio Spurs have done. But outside of that, it's going to be extremely, extremely difficult because the talent level from the guy who's getting drafted 1 and the guy who's getting drafted 13 or 14 is so far. That guy who's getting drafted 13 or 14, more than likely, he's going to have a hard time even starting on your team. This is why teams are tanking. And it's so obvious that they need to tank. This is why you hear Mark Cuban saying what he said, where he's so blatantly obvious about it. This is why you see Sam Hinkie telling everybody, trust the process. Trust the process is now a slogan now. They putting billboards up on they put billboards up there to try to get LeBron James so it's the ending of the process. Trust the process. It's now a slogan. Everybody knows the shit now. This shit is fucking crazy. But that's one of the few ways you can get it. Oklahoma City did it, and they were lucky because you drafted the gem and Kevin Durant and you were still able to lose. That's how you was able to get Russell Westbrook. That's how you was able to draft the James Harden, then a Serge Ibaka. Quiet as kept, Minnesota. Minnesota's been able to do that because you drafted you a Wiggins. Then you drafted you a diamond in fucking Karl Anthony Towns. Now, how was they able to get Karl Anthony Towns? Because they got the number 1 pick. Because they had one more loss than my New York Knicks, who couldn't even tank properly. They were tanking throughout the season. And they wait till just the end of the season to start actually wanting to win games. Oh yeah, now let's start getting. You laughing because you know I'm telling the truth. Yeah. Now they want to fucking win games. But guess what? Come draft time, Minnesota has one more loss, so they get more ping pong balls. You get the 4th pick, they got the number 1 pick. As much as I love the unicorn, I would rather Cat Towns than the unicorn. These are just the facts. These are the only ways. All of these issues are all intertwined together. So, in all due respect to Sean Miller, who I think is completely full of shit, he's saying what the fuck he feels like he has to say to keep his job.
Bullshit, Mr. Handman.
That's paying him somewhere between $4 and $5 million right now. But it's a standard operating procedure right now. What they're doing, how they're paying off these kids. They need to set up where these kids get paid. I'm not saying they should get paid $100,000, but I think the NCAA is making more than enough money when you can pay these big prospects $20, $30,000 a month. More than enough money. How you can work that out with football, given the fact there's more people on the team in football. 5-star recruits, $20,000, something like that. You got to work. Excuse me. I just think something can very easily be worked out if they try. Is the fact that the NCAA has been raping and taking all this money for themselves, paying the ADs and paying the coaches. Outside of that, the hands on the field ain't getting paid. It's slavery. Let's call it what it is. You're masking it as, oh, we're giving you an education.
Bullshit, Mr. Handman.
Okay? Take away the television cameras. Don't put it on TV. Take away the advertising. Because these kids are playing because they love playing these sports. That's why they're playing. And you're milking that. But you're not letting them eat off of it. And that's why I say the real issue is fixing the NCAA. It has to be fixed because even if you can create a minor league basketball system, a minor league basketball league, you know what I'm saying, pump some real money into the G League. It was first called the D League, but everybody didn't like the way it was sounded. So I think Gatorade took over, so now you call it the G League to make it sound cool. Tell me I'm wrong. And nobody gives a fuck either. Nobody gives a fuck. So even if you pump some money into the G League, these kids don't grow up wanting to be a G Leaguer. They don't. They want to they want to roll Tide. They want to play at Duke. They want to play at Carolina. You know what I'm saying? They want to play at Ohio State, who I hate. Fuck y'all, but that's not the point right now. They want to play for the Buckeyes. They want to. They want to play for USC. They want to be a Trojan. It will help them so much more if they were compensated. Especially more for football, because another thing y'all forgetting, NBA has one and done. College, mandatory, 3 years removed from high school. Now, nobody argues this because of the physicality of football. Taking a high school kid, you really want to put them up against the pros in their mid-20s and 30s. I get all that. But because it's those extra 3 years that they have to be removed from high school, they can't just go for a year like the NBA guys. They can't just do that like in basketball. They can't do that. That's why even more so, even if you fix the issue with college basketball, is not fixing the issue in college football. You have to fix the whole thing. These two sports make the most money. So fix them both now while you get the opportunity, and stop acting like they're two completely separate issues. Because they're not. And I'm going to say this flat out on the air. I'm a big Nick Saban fan. I'll say this on the air. I wouldn't give a fuck if he went down for this. I'm a big Coach K fan. I wouldn't give a fuck if he went down for this. Because if that's what is needed, if that's what is necessary to finally make this shit righteous, then so be it. That's just how the fuck I feel. Then so be it. Alright, we're going to go to our next story. Tonight, WBC heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder, 39-0, 38 KOs, will be going against Luis King Kong Ortiz, 28-0 with 24 KOs. This is a fight I've been waiting for. I've been waiting for this fight for a long time now. They were supposed to fight months ago, but they were supposed to fight, I believe, like December. But November, October, whatever. But Luis Ortiz had a issue. He failed the drug test, but that got cleared up or whatever. And now he's cleared, and he fought his one mandatory. Earned this title shot back, and WBC made him the mandatory. Wilder accepted, and now they're ready to go. See, Deontay Wilder, I think, is a very, very talented fighter. Extremely talented. Very big guy, 6'7". And he weighed in extremely light, only 214 pounds. He normally weighs in about 220, 225. But today's only 214, which leads me to believe that he is going to do the game plan that I think he needs to do for this fight. Deontay Wilder, being the champion, is the favorite. But I have to say this. His last name, Wilder, I've said this before, is a fit to describe his fighting style. He is wild. Very, very wild. And he is susceptible to counterpunching. He is someone, I've always likened him to a heavyweight version of Jermaine Taylor. And I say that because Jermaine Taylor, like Wilder, was very tall, good long jab, dynamic right hand, great athlete. Very, very wild. And after those Bernard fights, if you pay attention to Jermaine Taylor's career, they would put him against guys, they weren't even middleweights. They would put him up against blown up junior middleweights because they didn't want him in the ring with anyone who could punch. Because they didn't want him in the ring with anyone who could make him pay for his wildness. Corey Spinks, Kasim Umar. It was Corey Spinks, Kasim Umar, and then Ronald Winky Wright, who was a great fighter at the time, but wasn't a puncher. And he got away with this until he fought Kelly Pavlik. Now, when he fought Kelly Pavlik, smelling salts. As much as I want Deontay Wilder to win this fight, I want him to win this fight because myself and all other boxing fans want the big super fight between him and Anthony Joshua. And the biggest impediment for that fight is King Kong Ortiz. Wilder is acceptable to counterpuncher. Ortiz is a counterpuncher. Over 300 amateur fights, this guy knows how to move. He knows how to use angles in the ring. He's susceptible to someone who has a big punch. Ortiz has a big punch. He has not been in the ring with someone who can physically match up to him. He has not been in the ring with anyone who can hurt him. Ortiz is more than capable of both of those things. Now, I understand Ortiz being a southpaw, that makes Ortiz susceptible to right hands. Wilder, that's the intrigue in the fight, because Wilder has the best right hand in the sport. At least in the heavyweight division. Has the best right hand in the heavyweight division right now, with Vladimir's retirement. So, but that's the one thing I worry about. Furthermore, I think that for him to win this fight, he's going to have to win this fight fighting off of his back foot. If he fights off his back foot and he's moving back and he's using his jab, he's going to be able to correctly dictate to Ortiz pace. He'll be able to dictate the pace and have Ortiz walk into certain right hands. But if he does like we've seen here, like he did against Stiverne, he can get away with that shit against Stiverne. Bermane Stiverne cannot fucking hurt him. He can do that shit against him. But if he tries to go forward against Ortiz, he will get exposed. Like you see right here against Molina. He's susceptible to counterpunching. If he's going to go forward, he's going to be putting himself out there to get countered. Molina tagged him, wobbled him. Ortiz hits him like that, game's over. Any dream of a super fight ain't happening. So all this, you the best, nobody want to hear none of that shit, because the game's going to be over for you. Over. It's going to be over for you. And one last thing that worries me for the fight is when I look at Ortiz, I look at what he's fighting for. This is a guy, like I said, had over 300 amateur fights. Over 300 amateur fights in Cuba. And he came over here for health reasons so his daughter can get the treatment she deserves for her disease. I think about what this brother's fighting for and how that motivates him. As you see right here, the clip, the work this brother was putting in was crazy. And finally having an opportunity to fight for the WBC Heavyweight Championship. A lot of guys like him, traditionally in the history of boxing, don't get this opportunity. They don't. If you look at history, a fighter like Ernie Shavers. Historically, guys like him don't get the opportunity. Eventually, Muhammad Ali fought him and outpointed him, won a decision. Larry Holmes fought him too, got knocked down twice. Also, another fighter like Ray Mercer. When guys were champions, when Lennox was a champion, he didn't fight him. Only time Lennox fought him when he was on the comeback trail, and a lot of people, including myself, believe he lost that fight. Mike Tyson never fought him. Riddick Bowe never fought him. Guys like that normally don't get title shots. Why? They can take a punch, they hit too hard, and people outside of the boxing community don't know who the fuck they are. That right there is King Kong Ortiz. As much as people don't know Wilder as much as they should, they definitely don't know Ortiz. Nobody knows him. But people amongst the boxing community know who he is because he's a dangerous fighter. So the fact that a guy like that and everything he has to fight for, this right here is a very, very dangerous fight. Dangerous. He is the biggest impediment to the possible super fight between Joshua and Wilder. Now, if Wilder is able to win this fight, and Joshua later on this month is able to take care of his business in a very tough unification bout against Joseph Parker, if those two things happen, we got to put an if because those are tough opponents. Those two things happen. I'm going to give you the plan right now that they should go by to make the super fight happen. Because Floyd Mayweather made a comment about Deontay Wilder saying that because he's the B-side, he should go over to Britain and fight Joshua. And Floyd Mayweather is correct, but I have to disagree on this one thing. I'm disagreeing that he should go over there. I think the fight should be over here. And I say that because Floyd Mayweather has completely changed the game as far as how much money you can make with pay-per-views and boxing. Completely changed the game. So gone are the days of getting $10, $20 million and being happy with that. Because right now, if they both take care of business this month, and they set up that fight to go over there, AJ will make 25, Wilder will make 10. That's no money to laugh at. But if you follow my plan that I'm about to give you, AJ will make 100, and Wilder will make 50. It's already been said that Eddie Hearn, it's already been said that after this fight with Parker, that he'll fight again this year here in the U.S. against Big Baby Miller, which I think is a good idea. I think in the meantime, between time, give Wilder another mandatory. Now let it be in the same month as Joshua's fight. To let, in the great immortal words of great Hall of Fame trainer Angelo Dundee, let the fight get juicy. Let the public get juicy for it. Because the boxing public is juicy for it. But get the public, the outside, the casual sports fan, get juicy for it. Now, he can stay over there and make $20 million. Why? Because he's a king over there. But if he comes over here, he'll make $100 million because he'll get the pay-per-view buys. And pay-per-view buys is what matters. And people who don't understand what I'm talking about, Floyd Mayweather just fought a nobody in Conor McGregor. Nobody because the guy's never had a professional boxing fight. In the T-Mobile Arena, where they barely filled up 18,000 as far as people being there. Joshua's fought Vladimir Klitschko in front of 90,000 people. He's God over there. So selling out an arena is nothing. He's going to sell that out anywhere. But the reason why Floyd Mayweather made $300 million fighting Conor McGregor is the over 3 million pay-per-view buys they got. That's why. That is why. So Anthony Joshua coming here and ingratiating himself to the American fan base will generate him more money. We've seen it just now recently with Sergey Kovalev. We just saw this with Triple G. Triple G just fought earlier last year. Just fought Canelo Alvarez, being the B-side in that fight, and made $30 million. Now that's a middleweight we're talking about. We're talking about the heavyweight champion of the world. The undefeated, unified heavyweight champion of the world Know what kind of cachet that is? Mike Tyson said it best. When you're the heavyweight champion of the world, that means nobody in the world, anybody in the world could ever beat you in a fair fight. That brings cachet, ladies and gentlemen. So if he comes here, fights Big Baby Miller, performs well, let Deontay get a mandatory, he performs well. Let that fight get juicy. Give him each a tomato can afterwards. Let it build up after that. Then say this time next year, right there for all the marbles in Las Vegas. This has the potential to be the biggest fight in the heavyweight division since Lewis Tyson. And this is all due respect to former heavyweight champion Vladimir Klitschko, who was a great champion, but Vladimir Klitschko never came here to ingratiate himself to American fans. And he was far better than Sergey Kovalev. Far better than Sergey Kovalev. And in my opinion, better than Triple G. But he didn't ingratiate themselves the way those two guys did. And those who don't understand what I'm talking about, a couple of years ago, Sergey Kovalev fought Andre Ward for the first time. Now, Sergey Kovalev, a Russian, was the crowd favorite against a good-looking Olympic gold medalist who's undefeated. But he was the crowd favorite. That's what I'm talking about, coming over here and ingratiating yourself to American fans. Because he came over here and he was knocking everybody the fuck out. Everybody was rolling with him. He was the favorite in the fight. He was the champion in the crowd favorite. When Andre Ward got the decision, they were booing him. And he's the American. That's what happens if you're going to come here and ingratiate himself to American fans. Trust me, Anthony Joshua could do it. Anthony Joshua is more than capable. He has the looks, he has the fighting style, he has the personality. More than capable of doing it. First and foremost, he needs to take care of Joseph Parker. He's a very tough opponent. And as we're talking, Deontay Wilder needs to take care of Luis Ortiz. That is a very, very big challenge. Very, very big challenge. As of right now, I don't know. I want Wilder to win. I'm very, very nervous. I'm rolling with Wilder for the simple fact of I want to see the super fight with Wilder and Joshua. But Ortiz is scaring the shit out of me for all the reasons I stated. Let me move forward. As we're going to get into a new segment on the show called Shit Can't Happen.
Bitch. Yeah.
Shit can't happen. Shit can't happen.
This ain't funny, so don't you dare laugh. Shit can't happen to him and your ass. Shit can't be touched, don't think you can't. Cause niggas ain't fucking around no more, man. This ain't funny, so don't you dare laugh. Shit can't happen to him and your ass. Shit can't be touched, don't think you can't. Cause niggas ain't fucking around no more, man.
Now, in this week's installment of Shit Can't Happen, we have a few things we want to show you. In this week's installment, you're going to see Lauren Marketing of the Chicago Bulls. As you see him coming over right here, I have a pet peeve for big men who try to take charges. If you're coming over there and you're trying to take a charge, what the fuck is wrong with you? As far as I'm concerned, Marketing, you got exactly what the fuck you deserve. You got flushed on, you got put on the poster, and you came over to take a charge thinking he was just going to take a jump shot. You thought shit couldn't happen. Secondly, Wesley Johnson. Wesley Johnson. Wesley Johnson. I know everybody's been ragging on you. How can you do that? How can you try to defend? No, I'm not going to knock you for trying to defend James Harden. You're supposed to try to defend James Harden. And you know what? Sometimes you just might get your ankles broken down a little bit. That's just a part of the game. But when somebody scrapes you that bad, when you touch earth and you just sit there looking at the nigga, that is a problem. That is a problem. How did you not foul this nigga on the next play? Like, what the fuck? I guess that's why you're the Clippers. That's why you're the Clippers. You ain't never gonna win. Y'all take L's like that, and it's like, fuck it, I'ma wear it. Like, seriously, you cool with that shit? You was on the ground laughing. What the fuck is wrong with you? Guess you thought shit couldn't happen. Lastly, you know what I'm saying? I was going through, watch some college ball. It was Oklahoma, Alabama, I can't remember the teams, but this kid by the name of Winnington. Oh my God. I think somebody must have bet him. Somebody must have bet this brother and told him he can't dunk on the whole team. And he took that shit personally. I guess, well, the team, for some reason, thought shit couldn't happen. Wrong. As we move forward to the last topic of the day. My New York Giants. Now, Coach Pat Shurmur has been tweeting this week talking about he's looking forward to moving forward with Eli Manning. I applaud that. And we seen Saquon Barkley putting on an absolute show at the scouting combine, running 4.4, doing 29 reps at 225, 41-inch vertical lead. None of these things surprise me. Now, those of you who know me knows that not only do I want Barkley, I want left tackle Mike McGlinchey from Notre Dame, who's about a late first-round prospect. Now, if the Eagles don't snatch him up at the end of the first round, that means he will be there when we pick the beginning of the second round. Like I said, we can snatch them both. That is the plan. But first and foremost, we have to re-sign Odell. Re-signing Odell will have $20 to $25 million to spend, and it's paramount. We have to re-sign him. We have to take care of his situation so this way he could just focus on football. And he's tweeted this week about how he might not play no preseason games. You know what? It's very simple. Everybody knows talking about, well, you're learning a new offense. And I understand that you're learning a new offense. But here's the thing. He's going to be the focal point in the offense, whether we get Saquon Barkley or not. He's going to be the focal point. And a healthy Odell means more to me. I'd rather him be on the field and learn the offense slow than him risking anything in preseason. Because I don't give a fuck what nobody says. He got targeted last year. And if those of y'all think I'm talking out my ass, who's the defensive coordinator for the Browns? The same guy who was defensive coordinator in New Orleans, Bountygate. So, I don't want you, Odell, to play any preseason games. No. Hell no. And for those of y'all still hating on my boy Eli, I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to step out in front on this. Gettleman, you give Eli Manning an offensive line in a running game. With the weapons we have, with the defense we have. Saquon Barkley will do for my guy, Eli Manning, what Terrell Davis did for John Elway. I said it. I'll say it again if you didn't hear me the first time. Saquon Barkley will do for Eli Manning what Terrell Davis did for John Elway. You give Eli a running game and an offensive line, he'll take it from there. Now, last but not least, in my last show, I put the video out there with Diddy calling everybody out to see Black Panther. Diddy.
In case y'all did not hear what I said, this is a national, worldwide holiday. Everyone go see Black Panther, even if
I was listening. I've seen the movie twice, God damn it, and today is Saturday, March 3rd. I might go see it again tomorrow. I cannot describe to you how much I love this movie. I love this movie with every fiber in my being. I love this movie. You, ladies, you don't need a tanning booth no more. If you want to get a tan, here's what you do. You go to the movie theater, go see Black Panther. Why? Because when you walk out of the theater, you're going to feel 2 shades darker, I guarantee you. You're going to feel 2 shades darker. I'll tell you another thing I loved about this movie. There was absolutely no beige Negroes in this movie. No beige Negroes in this movie. And only one white man who lasted to the end. Token. For those of y'all getting offended because I call one guy Token, Go watch South Park. Who's the only black character on there? Token. So I don't give a fuck about your feelings right about now. Okay? Black Panther was a beautiful movie. Black Panther has instantly become my favorite Marvel character. Before it was Thor, now it's Black Panther. I mean, he's like Iron Man 2.0. Because he has special powers. And he has a great suit. Can't fuck with this guy. He just can't fly. That's the only thing he can't do, man. He's a bad motherfucker, man. I love it. But I have to ask one question. For everybody who's watched the movie. Is it just me, or was it halfway through the movie that you was half-ass rooting for Killmonger? Because I was. I was half-ass rooting for Killmonger. Like, shit. Like, nigga had a point. The nigga had a point. Like, shit, them motherfuckers is royalty over there. They come over here, they fucking Crips. Like, shit, nigga had a point. Eventually, T'Challa did the right thing. You know what I'm saying? The light bulb turned on, he did the right thing. And, you know, I got my nephew here in the studio. He still hasn't seen it yet, so he's trying to cover his ears. I'm going to tell you the same thing I told him. Any brown person that has not seen that movie, does not go see that movie, I'm taking Negro cards. I'm taking Negro cards. You're going to be in the OJ category with me if you don't go see that movie. Straight up. You're going to be in the OJ category for me. The only thing I just wish it was 100% black owned. I just wish it was 100% black owned. Because the movie is going to make $1 billion, maybe $2 billion for all we know. And if that was all black owned, it would be 100% beautiful. But at the end of the day, it's a beautiful movie. It's the kind of movie that me being a film buff, I've been waiting to see Hollywood to show. I always say, when is Hollywood going to start telling more of our stories? And if it had to come out in superhero form, then so be it, man. And black is beautiful. This is your boy, Urban Sports Guru. For those of y'all who's watching this, could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. I appreciate that. Guru, God bless you, man.